On the subject of presents, if you had asked Brian what it is he wanted for Christmas, he would have told you a couple of things that you would have expected to hear from a teenage boy. But Brian would never have told you what he really wanted for Christmas, which was a stuffed bear. He had had one when he was a child, and as he grew up and it got a little old and raggedy around middle school, his mother said to him, "It's probably time to throw this out." And Brian did not have the courage to tell his mother how much this bear meant to him, and so he agreed, and she threw it out. And for years afterwards, he always wanted another stuffed bear. I wonder if that's happened to you. I wonder if even now, tonight, today, this afternoon, you can think to yourself, oh yeah, there is this present I would love to get, but I don't have enough courage to tell anybody what it is, and so it's probably never going to happen. There is also presents that work out really, really well, presents that you don't even know that you wanted or needed, but turned into be something amazing. I saw a commercial a few weeks ago. A guy holds up this tool and he says, "I had never seen this before. My wife gave it to me, and it is the most amazing thing. It is the best tool now that I own." He didn't know anything about it. He didn't know what it even did, but the rest of the commercial showed me all the things that this fantastic tool would do. Is that not true of us sometimes, that we have received gifts that are like that? We didn't know what they would be, or perhaps even what they were. I know in my case, it's often books. I have this habit of reading books that people give me, and people have given me books that I would never have bought on my own, and yet they turned out to be either wonderfully entertaining or perhaps even quite meaningful to me in my Christian walk, for example. It's also interesting when you think of presents like this, if you switch sides. Some of you have had the joy of being the giver of one of those gifts. You've given the gift that somebody wanted but never would say it. You've given a gift that turned out to have great meaning that the person didn't even know that they wanted or needed. And is that not a wonderful act of love? It's an expression of love, because it doesn't happen with just a casual person. The only way you can manage a gift like that is if you really know this person, you're invested in them, you're willing to think, pick up hints, clues, whatever it is, in order to get them this amazing gift. I bring all this up because many of you would know the expression at Christmas time that Jesus is God's gift to us. And you may think that, well, that's a bit of a platitude. It's just some nice way to talk about it. But I suspect that if you think about it, you would realize there's a lot more to it than that. Because the baby Jesus, God's gift to us, this story tells us a great deal about ourselves and a great deal about God. About ourselves, we might be like Brian, longing for a gift. But we also it might be a gift that we don't even know anything about. Some of you here might be in that situation. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, I'm not sure that I need faith. I mean, I know years ago I was sort of in that boat. The money was okay. There was money at the end of the month. I had a nice job. The relationships were going pretty well. Family was good. Got to take vacations I liked. All that kind of stuff. Life was good. And it didn't seem to me that I had any need or want of faith. It didn't seem to matter if I had it or not. But of course, that wasn't true. It wasn't true at all. Everything looked good on the outside, but deep down, all that stuff that I just mentioned, it was all, if you will, on the surface. And those surface things are so easily taken away, as sadly some of you would have learned from the storms. But God knows us. God knows us. God loves us. He knows exactly what it is we need. He's the one that knows that we have this need for, as Jesus put it, an abundant life. That's what he told his disciples. I came that they might have life and have it abundantly. But abundant isn't the American dream. It's not the stuff I was just mentioning about money and possessions and all that sort of stuff, or success. It is the abundant life that Jesus talks about, is the deep, satisfying, purposeful life that all of us are looking for, whether we know it or not, whether we have hidden our desire for it behind a whole lot of stuff and never bring it out, or whether we're like Brian, who really knows precisely what he's looking for and just hopes someone gives it to him. And so we come to this day every year where we get a chance to remind ourselves that, yeah, God loves us. It sounds simple and trite, and maybe you don't even believe it, or it doesn't seem real to you, but it is. It is. The Christian life, of course, isn't easy. Jesus never promised that it would be easy, never promised us that if we signed up to be a disciple, everything would work out for the best. There are times when you have pretty lousy years. I spent a whole lot of time in doctor's offices this year, but that wasn't because God didn't like me or God didn't want to reward me or anything like that. It was just that we live in a fallen world and people get sick. But the best thing about this year for me was that God was with me. That's it. Emmanuel, that's what the gospel told us. God with us. Jesus is here to be with us, even today, right now. He's with us in his word. He's with us because you have graciously come here. The fact that we are gathered together, God is with us. He'll be with us in the Eucharist. It's a wonderful gift that God, who doesn't have to care about you and me at all, he does. So much so that he gives us his Son.